My Dylan may be coming today. Oh! How you feeling, Dad? Feeling fine right now? What's up, you guys? It's Basically Brittany here, and you're watching Basically Brittany TV. What's up, what's up, what's up? I just want to hop right in because I've been gone for a minute. But your girl is back. I won't even say back because was I really gone? Was I really that active on here? Not really. So, am I back? Debate amongst yourself. If you haven't noticed, my face is skinnier. And that's because we have delivered a beautiful baby girl. And she's sitting right here next to me, but she's quiet right now, so I do not want to disturb her. She's watching Bear in the Big Blue House on TV. It's muted. She's quiet. We're just going to leave her be. We'll probably show her later, okay? So when I first found out I was pregnant, they told me my delivery date was January 20th, right? And I knew in my heart of hearts, baby girl is not making it to the 20th, okay? She's not waiting that long, especially as I got rounder and as space got cramped for her, because she was a wiggler, okay? She was a very active baby in the womb. So I knew she was not gonna wait till the 20th. I went to a doctor's appointment and they were like, come hell or high water, you're delivering on the 20th because of things. They were worried about my blood pressure because I had gone from having like perfect blood pressure to like, now I'm not even going below like 135, right? Towards the end of the third trimester. So they were a little worried about it, but that was the reason they said, right? That was the reason they said on the 20th, you're delivering. So I had a doctor's appointment January 13th with a maternal specialist because I am considered obese. So they were worried about the integrity of my placenta, right? Anyway, we're at the doctor's appointment January 13th. One of the things they do your ultrasound, make sure your placenta is good, make sure your amniotic fluid is good. And then for me, they had me sit on the detectors. I don't know what the medical term for them are called, but the things that monitor your, I guess they're called monitors, things that monitor your baby's heartbeat and whether or not you're contracting. So on the 13th, me and my husband are sitting in this little room. I'm laid back in this lazy boy, half sleep. And I had like bouts of like pain here and there. And like I would wince and she would move and her heartbeat would go up and then go down. I'd go up and then go down. So when the lady came in, she was like, yeah, you've had 2 contractions. I did, because I, even though I was like wincing with pain, it wasn't what I thought a contraction would feel like. But even when she turned the monitor off, I started like wincing again, and she like put her hands on my belly and she was like, yeah, you're having another contraction. And I was like, how are you able to tell this? So pretty much she said that your stomach gets hard when you're contracting, obviously because your muscles are contracting. Makes sense, right? As we're leaving the appointment, she says, yeah, you're contracting. You might be in early labor right now. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't make it through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday come. I think we went to like a family friend's house. I stopped singing at church in November because I was not playing, okay? I was not about to have a baby on stage in the middle of worship. No, thank you. Monday came around and something was off. Something was off on Monday. I was like, I'm not feeling the greatest. I remember taking a shower, and I was like, I don't feel good. Like, I'm not in pain. Like, I'm expecting period cramps for contractions, right? So when the lady at the doctor's office told me you're contracting, I was like, oh, she just felt my stomach. My stomach was getting hard. That's how she knew I was contracting. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I'm in the shower. I'm feeling weird, but it's not period cramps, right? So I come out here, and for whatever reason, I wanted to watch Medea. I wanted to watch the Medea Christmas play. I was binge watching Medea. I'm cackling at this play, and I'm noticing as I'm cackling, I'm hurting. Like I'd laugh and then I'd be like, oh, something's not right. So then I'm texting my best friend Ariel. I'm like, girl, my stomach is hurting. And she was like, how, like, are you having contractions? And I was like,
I might be.
and she was like, well, how far apart are they? And I'm like,
I don't know.
she was like, maybe you should time them. I was like, maybe I should time them. So I got this app on my phone. So that whole weekend, I was kind of timing whenever I wasn't feeling the greatest, because again, it was not cramps. It was like, I just didn't feel good. Like it'd just be moments of like not feeling good. And there would be times where it was cramps, but it wasn't like period cramps. Does that make sense? Like my period cramps can be severe, but it wasn't like period cramps. It'd be like gas cramps. Girl, I don't know. It was cramps, but it wasn't cramps. Women get it. She tells me to start timing my contractions. Now it is a Monday. My husband is at work, so I'm here by myself. Okay. My mother-in-law just flew in that morning. My mom at home. She like lives on the other side of the street we live on. I'm like in a state of like, I don't want to disturb nobody, but at the same time, I should probably give these people a heads up and let them know something might go off today. Something might be popping off today. So I'm texting, like I text my husband, I might be having contractions. How far apart are they? Not sure. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm sorry. Am I boring you? She just yawned at me. So I FaceTime my... What's the matter? Okay, y'all might get to see her now. She's getting fussy. Mama. You're so... Yeah, she's sleepy. Okay, so I FaceTime my mom and I'm pretty much like, Mom, you should probably get ready to leave because I'm averaging about 7.5 minutes apart from my contractions, so be ready to put the car in drive, right? Meanwhile, I'm texting my husband and my husband is like, you need to call the doctor to see if you need to leave right now because because my doctor's office, my hospital was 35-40 minutes away from where we live, and that's without traffic. So he was pretty much like, and it's a Monday afternoon. I forgot that part. It's a Monday afternoon. So he's like, you need to call the doctor. I'm like, okay, but I don't call the doctor because I'm still like ebbing and flowing and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And it's just a lot of things that just made me not call the doctor right away. I just kind of lingered. But the more I lingered, the contractions weren't any closer together, but the intensity was kind of contracting. The intensity was getting very strong, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to call the doctor now. So I called the doctor and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be delivering there on the 20th. I have an induction scheduled on the 20th. I'm having contractions now. They're averaging 7.5 minutes apart. I'm only calling because I am 35-40 minutes away from the hospital and I need to know, do I need to leave now or should I wait? The doctor was like, you need to leave now. So I call my mom, my dad answers the phone, and I'm like, hey Dad, it's time to go. Tell Mom I need to go. The doctor said I need to leave now. And so I hang up with her. I call my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then, of course, I'm texting my best friends and I'm like, hey, we might be having a baby today. So my mom comes and gets me. We head to the hospital. My husband meets me, my mom, and my mother-in-law at the hospital because he works like 5 minutes away from the hospital. So my mom dropped me off at the emergency room door, and we talked to the security guy there. The security guy there is like, oh, you need to talk to the register person, and I should really know the vocabulary for these people. So he escorts us down to the emergency room. Actually, it wasn't the emergency room exit. It was another entrance we went in, but the security guy led us through to the emergency room to meet the registrar. So he's like, wait right here. He goes around this corner, then he comes back. He's like, she's gonna be about 10 to 15 minutes. Cool. Me, my husband, and my mother-in-law are waiting in that same spot for about 20 minutes. At this point, my mother-in-law is getting enraged. She's like, there's a pregnant lady here. She's having contractions. Where's this register lady? Before she goes off, I'm just like, where is labor and delivery? Because that's where I was told to go. When I got to the hospital, it wasn't the emergency room, it was to labor and delivery. So we end up just going to labor and delivery. When we got to labor and delivery, of course you're not just gonna walk into labor and delivery. We had to like ring the bell. So then the lady tells me that I can only have one person with me. No, I could have two people with me, but they would have to be with me all night until I gave birth. And I'm just like, my quagmire was, dang, I know my mom would really like to. I know my mother-in-law would really like to. Honestly, the only person I care about being in that room is my husband. So to kind of like, not make it fair, because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't like, that is a special moment to be in the room while your granddaughter is being born. But I think they would have understood each other's relationship. So I don't think it would have been like a competition thing. But to alleviate all of that, like even when I was planning a wedding, I didn't have a maid of honor. I had maid of honors. So to alleviate all of that, I just kind of like told the nurse lady, okay, I just want my husband there. So my husband just went with me, and my mother-in-law went down to meet my mom. Before we get to the waiting room, the lady said, did we register? And I said, I did this thing online. And she was like, no, that's the pre-register. You had to register when you get here. And I'm just like, what's the point of pre-registering then? Long story short, she puts us in this little waiting room. And she's just like, we just got to wait for the register person. Say we got into that waiting room at about 5, right? 5:30 rolls around. There's a nurse that comes in. She's like, have you talked to the register person? No. 5:45 rolls around. The register person been up here yet? No. 6 o'clock rolls around, and the nurse is like, you know it's bad when the doctors and nurses start getting fed up, and they're like, forget it. We're just going to do it on our own. Let us see your ID. We're going to put you in the system ourselves because we're not waiting. Because meanwhile, I'm still contracting, and now I'm in pain. Like, they're not any closer together, but I'm in pain now. So the lady was like, forget it. We're just going to put you in the system ourselves. Go ahead and go into this little room, other room that they had, so we can check you. So I go into this other room. I strip. I lay on this bed. When I tell you, the nerves are now kicking in that I am potentially having this baby today. Like, I am maybe pushing a human out of my vag today. Like, the nerves were definitely kicking in. And this lady came in. I forget her name, but she was the sweetest. Shout out to the whole staff, because all of them were super sweet, except for one or two, but all of them were super sweet. Anyway, she's like, hey mama, how you doing? You hanging in there? And so long story short, I won't bore you with all that. So she is checking baby girl's heartbeat with the little monitor thing. She's checking my contractions as well. She's also checking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is through the roof. Okay. My blood pressure was like 140 something over something, and it never has been that high. Ever had been that high. They also checked my cervix to see how far along I had dilated. And so when they do that,
that's the part they don't tell you about.
When they check your cervix, first of all, they had to lean me like, I was already leaned back, but they had to darn near bend me backwards to get to my cervix. And then when they got to my cervix,
the pain, the horror.
Like, that was more painful than whatever contraction I was feeling, because she's literally, oh God, that was painful. But either way, she checks my cervix and I'm 2 centimeters dilated. On top of that, her heart rate is dropping. Like, it goes up and then it goes down. Then it goes up again and then goes down. And then it goes up again one more time and then it goes down. So they're like, the lady's like, more than likely you're not going home tonight. 1, because your blood pressure. 2, because our heart rate. So I would say, I hope you have your hospital bag with you because you're not going home. You know, at some point in all of that mess, the register lady came. I ended up giving my information to my husband so he could talk to her because obviously I was kind of occupied with getting my cervix checked. So I just kind of waited there until they were like, okay, we're ready for you. And then the nerves kicked in again. All right. It's a little dark in here, but right now I'm admitted and we're having a baby. Come hell or high water. And yeah, they just got me hooked up to everything. And I'm watching Frozen, so this is gonna be fun. Oh my god. We're about to be parents. Not my bra being out. They put us in this room. It was very cozy, okay? The room was very spacious. And it just was like really kicking in that I'm about to have a baby. I am not leaving this room without a human. What? The excitement, the nerves, the worry, like everything was going through my mind. Lord knows everything was going through my husband's mind because he just kind of hit shutdown. He got to eat. My husband came into that hospital room with Clyde's. It smells so good. I was so mad I couldn't eat it. Obviously, because eventually I would have to push and they probably didn't want the poop everywhere. So I couldn't eat anything but like graham crackers and orange juice and water, which I ain't never drank that much water before in my life. You know, God be looking out because his wings was nasty. Yeah, we kind of got settled into the room. The nurse comes in. So then she's like, we're going to end up inducing you because I wasn't leaving. So she was like, we're going to end up inducing you. Are you interested in? Yes, I want an epidural. I didn't even let her finish. I was like, yes, I want an epidural. I want the drugs. Give me anything that numbs everything. So she was like, okay, well, we're going to give you Pitocin. I said, I want my epidural before you give me the Pitocin. So she was like, roger that, check. So then she's like, the anesthesiologist is going to come in here. I think the anesthesia, whatever. The lady comes in to do my epidural and she's very like tall. Like she's very big. And so I'm like, oh, she's about to be hella rough. I'm like, hell. Like, this is about to be terrible. But it was so cute because they had my husband sit in front of me so I could kind of lean on him for support so I could properly arch my back while kind of sitting up straight. As she's doing my epidural, she kind of tells me to indicate where I'm feeling like tingling or pain. And I'm like, right side. I'm making her aware like my right side is tingling. My right side is in pain. All this stuff, right? She's like, okay, thank you, blah, blah, blah. She finishes. We go about our merry way. I go back to lay back down, let the epidural kick in. At some point, they put in a catheter. Let me tell you, that catheters are low-key a blessing, but nobody wants to talk about it. So we are literally just chilling in the room. They're monitoring heartbeats. They're monitoring my blood pressure. They're just kind of like waiting for my water to break. They're waiting for me to dilate further. Like we're just all in this waiting game now. They gave me the Pitocin, and now we're just in this waiting game. Eventually, hours and hours and hours, like in the wee morning now, like we've gone from 7 o'clock in the evening to like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Obviously my husband's very tired. It was so long that my husband and my mom were able to switch places. He was able to go shower and change his clothes and go get some clothes. And my mom was able to take his spot. Like that's how long we were in the hospital waiting for something to happen, right? So eventually they're like, we want to break your water, but we can wait until your husband comes back. Cool. My husband comes back. They come break my water. By this time, I've had 2 shifts, 2 different doctors come in. And one was just kind of like, we'll wait it out. Mind you, I am the only one on this floor, on this labor and delivery floor, that's having a baby. I am the only person on this floor. So like everybody is available. You feel what I'm saying? The second doctor was like, we're going to put a catheter or something in you to kind of like open up your cervix so that the baby can drop. Well, when she came in to do that, I am way ahead of myself, because before she came in to do that, I started feeling contractions on my left side, only on my left side. And it was super painful, to the point where like they give you this thing to control how much epidural you get. And I am, every about 5 minutes, I'm pushing that thing and nothing's happening. Like I am feeling all of this only on one side, and it's painful. Like I am in tons of pain. And so the nurse comes in and she's like, well, lay on your left side, because sometimes the epidural will only flow to one side, and that's why you only feel it on your left side. So I'm like, okay, cool. They were super accommodating to like help me get comfortable. They laid all the pillows out. But it was not working. It was not working. So another lady had to come in to give me something else. She gave me something else to kind of stop the pain on my left side. And once she did that, I stopped feeling everything on my left side. At the same time she did that, the other doctor came in, gave me like this, it's not a catheter, it was something else, but it was something to help her drop. It was something to help me dilate more. It was something to help her drop and speed up pretty much this labor thing, because at this point I'm almost there for 12 hours. So the lady sticks a little catheter thing in, and her heart rate slows down so much. Like it went from do-do, 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 do-do to do-do, do-do. And the doctor is like, is that real time? And the nurse was like, yeah. And so like almost immediately she pulls out the thing. She's like, flip over. So I have to get on all fours with an epidural, mind you. So like all my weight is on my arms. My poor arms are shaking. On top of, now I'm scared because like what is happening? My arms are shaking. There's like 4 nurses trying to hold me up. So she's all in my vag trying to feel for Dylan. And she's like, I'm trying to pull her down. And the more she's trying to pull her down, I'm assuming the her heart rate just keeps dropping. So then they're like, flip her over, we're going to the OR. Now, one of the things about our birth is that we did not have a birth plan. We just kind of were like, whatever happens, happens. Whatever's in the will of the Lord is in the will of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But I was kind of hoping not to go under the knife. I was kind of praying to stay away from going under the knife. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you know, my mom was telling me that doctors are so quick to do a cesarean just to get you out of there. So I'm like, if I can avoid a cesarean, I don't want a cesarean. But the minute the heart rate was down and stayed down, because like I said, her heart rate was ebb and flowing. Like it would go down and then go back up, drop down and then go back up. But this time it stayed down. It did not come back up. So the doctors was like, prep the OR. So they flipped me back over. I am now panicking, but like low key telling myself, you're going to be fine, Brittany. Everything's going to be okay. I said a prayer. I'm like, Lord, you're with me. I know the promises you made to me. I know for a fact my little girl is going to come out healthy. I know that I will get to meet my daughter today. I know this is happening. This is me talking to myself. On the outside, I'm crying. On the outside, I'm like, this is how I go. This is legit how I go. And it gets even better. So we get to the OR. They're calling for the anesthesiologist, right? Somebody get the anesthesiologist. On top of that, they have let my husband go and get some scrubs. So I'm being wheeled to the OR by myself. And I don't know if y'all have seen my husband in previous vlogs, but he's not small. He's not a small man. So I'm sure it took him a little bit to find his scrubs. We get to the OR. They're like, get the anesthesiologist. Some lady runs off. They're doing what they do. They're trying to set up the curtain to go up. They're doing all of these things. somebody asked again, go get the anesthesiologist. So they're like, we contacted him. Like he's on his way. They're doing more prep. They're getting more stuff set up. And it got to a point where the doctor was like,
find the anesthesiologist.
get the anesthesiologist in here now. So like 2 minutes after she said that, in walks, he's gonna be Johnny. In walks Johnny. So he puts my anesthesia in. I think that's how you say it, anesthesia. He puts it in. I don't feel anything because he's like, I'm putting in an IV, you won't get poked anymore. And I'm like, great. And then I feel pressure of pinching. Like I feel the pressure of pinching. And so the guy is like, has it kicked in yet? And the doctor says, yes, it's kicked in. I pinched her and she didn't do anything. So she starts calling out layers of the skin. And as she's calling them out, she's slicing. And as she's slicing, I'm like, oh my God, because I feel it. I feel the pressure of her slicing my skin open. It was not pain. It was not like a stabbing feeling, but it was definitely the pressure of somebody's cutting me open. Like my body parts are leaving their original placement and I feel it. At some point, I start crying and I'm like, oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And then there's a nurse that comes over and she's like, oh, I know, sweetie, it hurts. I know, you just hang in there. It's almost over. It's almost super sweet, right? Super sweet. And I'm just like, I'm so scared. She was like, don't be scared. This is normal. You're going to be fine. You're going to meet your baby. And then in walks my husband and he's like, I can tell in his face, he's like, oh, they cutting already? And then he comes over, kind of takes the place of the lady. He's like, you're doing great, babe. Oh my God, you're so strong. Da, da, da. And then like not even 2 minutes later, I hear screaming. Baby girl had some healthy lungs, okay? And that kind of relieved me because I'm like, okay, she's good. She's fine. I don't know what they did to stitch me back up. Again, all of it just felt like pressure. And then I felt my legs sliding off the bed. And so I'm saying, my legs falling off the bed. Nobody moves. My legs falling off the bed. Nobody moves. I can feel my leg falling. My leg is falling off the bed. And then the guy, the anesthesiologist is like, you can feel your leg falling off? I was like, yeah, my leg is falling off the bed. And so he tells the doctor, and the doctor is like, oh, and they're like lifting my leg back on the bed. And she's like, wait, you felt that? I was like, yes. And apparently that's not normal for me to be able to feel that. But also I'm screaming bloody murder while you're slicing me open to get this kid out into this world. It's okay though. I could understand you didn't know I could feel that. I could understand that. Side note, one of my biggest fears was pooping. That lady said, okay, we're going to clean up the poop pad. And I originally thought, oh, that's just what they call the diaper pads they put underneath you. No. I had pooped my life away while they were cutting me open. So we go into recovery. Baby girl's healthy. She's, the cutest little, chunkiest little thing I've ever seen. And I'm just like, I did it. I made it. And, they handed her to me for skin to skin. And it just kind of like a flood of thank you Jesuses came out of my mouth. Like, she's alive. I'm alive. We're all here. Like, our family made it out. You know what I'm saying? So we go into recovery. And, I just kind of stayed there. They were super concerned because, again, my blood pressure did not drop after having the baby. My blood pressure didn't stabilize. It just kind of kept going up. When we were in recovery, I had the shakes really bad. And I think that's like normal with like coming out from being under anesthesia. I think it was how I was shaking was concerning them because I was shaking so hard. And the doctor or nurse eventually told me if I don't get my shaking under control, my body can essentially go into shock. Not saying that I would die, but it's dangerous. She taught me like this trick to like stick my tongue out and I won't shake. And surprisingly, it worked. Like if I stuck my tongue out, I wasn't shaking, but I'm not sitting in a room full of people with my tongue out. Like, these nurses coming and going out of this little section of the room, and they just see this woman with her tongue out as they're checking my blood pressure and things. No, thank you. No, thank you. So that's how she came into this world. Once my blood pressure kind of got at a 137 consistently, they put me into the family room, which was dramatically smaller than the labor and delivery room, which, okay, I get, but like, also, what? And we just kind of lived out the rest of our days as a family of 3 in there. We had our family and friends come and visit. I mean, honestly, it was just a really, really good time in the family room. But like, labor and delivery was just a different kind of experience. I can understand why someone who had a traumatizing labor and delivery wouldn't want to go through that again, because of the urgency in which I was essentially rushed into a C-section. Kind of made me super scared to like even try again for a little bit, because I'm just like, that is traumatizing. That is super traumatizing. And then on top of that, when my mom and Boomie's mom, my husband's mom, found out that I was getting a C-section, they went into a frenzy.
Oh no, they are not giving her a C-section. They just want her to get out the hospital. Why are they giving her a C-section?
When, you know, lo and behold, little Wiggler here had her umbilical cord not only wrapped around her, but tied in a knot. How that happens, I have no idea. That's Olympic style stuff right there, okay? Like, once I've calmed down and getting to a place of like realizing what just happened, it is such a blessing. And I can just see that I was covered throughout the whole entire process. Like, even me being at the hospital as early as I was, me being the only person on the floor having a baby that day, and it just so happens that my baby's heart rate is dropping to like 47 beats per minute, and everybody is available. If you ever want to see God in your life, just reflect, you know what I'm saying, on how you've gotten out of things. I've gotten so much closer to God because I'm like, not only because of a near-death experience in my mind, but it's just like when I came to and realized like everything was orchestrated so that I could come out of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have a floor full of people. And it wasn't until after we got to the family room that now they're busy. Now it's like a bunch of families coming in ready to have their baby. Literally somebody was waiting for us to get out of a C-section to have their C-section, and ours wasn't even scheduled. So like, everything just kind of like worked. Like, she's supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be here, she has a purpose, I have a purpose of being her mom. So like, and my husband being her father. So like, all of it was just, man, I couldn't even, I just left with so much gratefulness in my heart and with just so much joy that even with her crying, I was like, oh, that's my baby, that's my daughter. Like, you know what I'm saying? The beautiful thing about being her mom specifically is just seeing her like personality come out. Like, she's almost 2 months old now. So, you know, she does the whole, if something's funny, she smiles, she laughs. If like she don't like something, she gonna let you know. But to see how like she recognizes my face, my husband's face, my husband's mom's face, my parents' face, like to see how she kind of lights up when she sees somebody she recognizes, and then if somebody she doesn't know holds her, she's kind of like, who are you? How, you know, my husband and I are transforming as parents, transforming as husband and wife. I think one thing that I truly appreciate is that we haven't lost us. I still feel like my husband loves me. We are consistent with date nights. So like, he does make time for me. Even though he went back to work and I've been with the baby, he's made sure to be like, let's do XYZ. Like, we went to go see Creed 3 when it came out. Like, we've gone out to eat with friends. And, you know, it also helped that my husband's mom was here for like 3 weeks after she was born. And it was just such a blessing, especially with me recovering from a C-section. So like, you know, I wasn't doing a whole lot, and my husband like picked up a lot of the slack, especially because I am not OCD with cleaning, but like I'm a little bit of a neat freak. So like, he did his best in trying to keep the house clean. And when his mom was here, oh, she has OCD for real. So she was cleaning the house. And it was just so amazing to have all of that support. My mom being here when she could, working from here so I could get my rest when my husband's mom wasn't here. Like, everybody just kind of stepped up, and I was just overwhelmed of having to come home. And when we left the hospital, I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, she's ours. This is our child. Like, we can't drop her off to nobody because she lives with us. This is our baby. But when I got home and realized that I have so much support, because obviously 2 days after a C-section, I'm not healed. I'm not recovered. Yes, I can use the bathroom on my own, but that's just about it. My mother-in-law was very adamant on sit your behind down somewhere. Okay? Yeah. Go lay down. Go get some rest. Give me her. She was, no, you need to heal. Like, you can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? Let him do that. You know what I mean? The support is overwhelming. But back to her, seeing how she is developing. She's changed even physically so much since she was born. And I'm just like, just watching her change and her face kind of fill out. And it's just so amazing being her mom. And it's just like, I can see me in her. I can see my husband in her. There's certain things she does where I'm like, she looks just like my sister. With her personality, I definitely see me. That attitude, child, that's me. When she get that side eye going, ooh. Motherhood has changed me instantly. Mama Bear just kind of kicked in. I'm super protective of her. I didn't expect Mama Bear to kick in so hard, so fast. To be honest, I didn't realize how much of a homebody I was until I'm completely content being in this house with my baby all day long, all week long, all month long. If you let me, all year long. If I leave this house, I'm ready to come back home to my baby. I've also gotten so close, and this is my prayer every year, every day, just to grow closer to God. And now that I feel like I have someone that I am accountable for, like, this is my child, I have to guide her in the way that she should go so she won't depart from it. That's word. Look it up, people. I have to instill in her, and be an example for her so that when she gets older, she will want a relationship with Christ and not one that's forced upon her. And not just because of just because of her. It's also because of me, because of my experience with giving birth, because of just my life overall. I just did not see myself 5 years ago. You couldn't have told me this was going to happen. And so for God to keep his promises to me, because they've always been consistent. This was always a promise he made to me, and it was confirmed through plenty of people. I just never saw it because my circumstances didn't let me see it. So now that I'm in this moment, in this time, I have my daughter. I know there will be future kids to come. I ain't rushing that either. I'm just like, wow, God is so amazing. And so that makes me yearn for him. That makes me want to live more right. More right. Come on, Britt. That makes me want to tell everybody else, look over your life and see where you've been. And I guarantee you will see God in your life. Now, here's something I wanted to talk about too, because when I did get home from, when I did get home from the hospital, before I even left, one of the things they talked about was postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. If I felt that I was getting either of those things, they gave me a number to call. They gave me, I met with the lady. And at first when I was in the hospital, I was like, oh, I'm not going to need it, whatever. But when I got home, the first few weeks, I could feel everything my husband did annoyed me. Everything my husband did annoyed me. Sometimes I just wanted to be by myself. I don't want to be bothered by anyone. I was doing a lot of reflecting. That's what it was. I was in my head a lot. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes it was bad. I feel like now that I'm on the other side of it, I took that way too lightly. And thank God I wasn't at a point where I was like, wanting to harm myself, because I am so, what's the word I'm looking for? I like to keep an appearance of being okay. I wasn't willing to acknowledge that something's not right, because I'm so used to being okay. I'm so used to being the one that not necessarily got it together, but you ain't got to worry about Brittany, right? That I failed to see that my hormonal imbalance was making me go through a depression. And so I said all that to say, don't be like me. Even if it's just a little bit of depression, even if it's just a little bit of irritation or a little bit of, reach out for help, okay? Talk to someone. Don't try to keep it together for the sake of trying to keep it together. Like, you don't get an award for that. Nobody is presenting you with an award for not having postpartum depression after having a baby. It is normal. That is normal. Even to those who like to fake that they're okay, there's going to be a point where you can't fake that mess no more. You know what I'm saying? So I said all that to say, reach out for help. Well, that is the end of this little story time video. I was kind of hoping she'd be awake by now so you guys could see her, but she's here, y'all. She's here, and I'm so excited to be a mom, and I'm ready for this journey. And, you know, let's see what life is gonna life. I want to say I'm back. I have a goal. I think my daughter has given me this like extra oomph that I needed to like keep going with this thing. I actually miss being on camera. I miss editing. I miss all of that. So expect to see my face more. God, I still can't believe she's here. She's also very knocked out. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye. There's her hand. Say bye, Dylan.